Welcome to our chapter on cat-cow and downward facing dog. Two really great poses, not just for warming up the spine, but also for coming back to again and again in a yoga practice. So Kendall is on her hands and knees. And the first thing I'm going to say about this is that some people have wrist issues, and there are little modifications you can do, and there are bigger modifications. So when she gets onto hands and knees, first of all, press down through the tops of your feet. It really helps support the whole system of the body. So remember in plank pose, some people drop their heads. So once she brings her head up in line with the back of her heart, inhale there, then she can really feel how much weight is actually going into her hands. So push down into your hands. Good. Bring your spine between your shoulder blades. Those are our plank instructions. So there they are again. And now, if she has pain in her hands, I'll give the two easiest modifications. One would be turn your thumbs a little bit forward so that your fingers turn away from each other, and that gives a tiny bit of space to the inner wrist for those that feel a little pinchy at the base of the thumb. And if it's just not enough, you can also say you can come onto your fists. Now, that requires a different kind of strength, so some people might like it, some people might not like it, in which case you would bring your blocks back, here you go, and you can come onto your forearms on the blocks, which gives you that same height at your chest, but you're off your wrists altogether. So this is the most, I would say maybe advanced modification and the most thorough modification to come onto the blocks, but it does help. What I'll say about that, if you're on the blocks, is it makes cat-cow a little bit restricted because you don't have the full reach of your arms for your upper back flexibility. So I'm going to have Kendall come back onto her hands and knees so that we can really see what a full cat-cow looks like. There's a couple of great ways to break down cat-cow, and I'm going to lead us through one of those. So the modification we're going to do today will be to first look at the actions of the pelvis. Second, we'll look at the actions of the upper back thoracic spine in our cat-cow. Third, we'll go into full cat-cow all together as a wave. Sideways, front ways, wave, wave. Okay, so Kendall, cat-cow, half. As you inhale, keep your chest still. Bring the back of your head in line with the back of your heart. Without moving your rib cage or chest, draw your tailbone toward the sky, inhale. As you exhale, wrap your tailbone toward the backs of your knees, and when you feel that your upper back is trying to follow, stop and pause. Hold there for just a breath. Now it's great when you're in a tucked pelvis to really feel how much the inner thighs have to work. Push down through the tops of your feet and draw your inner thighs up toward your pelvis. The classical instruction here would be to draw your inner thighs toward the back of your mat. That works for some of us. I do love the instruction instead to say, draw your inner thighs up towards your pelvis, okay? So play around with both of those instructions. Now, we'll do this as a flow. Inhale, draw your tailbone up toward the sky without bringing your chest into the back bend. And exhale, draw your tailbone toward the backs of your knees, round and tuck. Feel those frontal hip bones moving toward your spine. Do that one more time. Inhale, tailbone to the sky without bringing your chest into the back bend. Exhale, round just at your pelvis, tailbone toward the backs of your knees. Feel those frontal hip bones moving toward each other. Bring your pelvis back to neutral. Draw your upper thigh bones energetically toward the back of your mat. Child's pose. Push down into your hands and inhale, lift back up to hands and knees. Okay, so there are energetic and there are physical instructions. So I'm going to have Kendall just energetically move the tops of her thighs back, but keep the hands and knees position. Without moving your pelvis, Kendall, inhale and draw your heart forward and up through your arms, extending just your upper back. See, there's very little movement here, but she can feel what's working there. And as you exhale, draw your shoulder blades away from each other, round just your upper back. Now the lower back wants to help, so you're not going to go as far as you think. And if you can, look down at your belly. Inhale, take just your upper back forward and up into a back bend. Maybe the eyes will follow, maybe they won't. And as you exhale, round just your upper back, press through your hands. Broaden your shoulder blades and take your front ribs toward the back of your body. Come back to neutral and we'll put the two together. We'll work as a wave. Inhale, start at your tailbone, find a back bend, turn it to the sky. Ripple that through to your heart and look up. That's the last thing, is the looking up. Start at your tailbone. Exhale, wrap your tailbone toward the backs of your knees. Feel that ripple through your spine, round your upper back, narrow your inner thighs, the front of your pelvis, and maybe look at your belly button. Inhale, ripple through, look forward and all the way up. Exhale, start at your pelvis and round your spine back to cat-cow. It's so great to do this as a wave. You can also do this all at the same time. Inhale, arch your back. Look forward and up. Take your tailbone up. Push down through the inner hand. Exhale, round your spine. Draw your front ribs toward the back of your body. So you're really maximizing this opening rather than just a pushing down of the head. And do that one more time. Inhale, take your heart forward and up. See, there's no wave here. It's a little bit different, a little more classical. Exhale, round your spine. Bring yourself back to hands and knees, tabletop. Head is in line with your heart. As you exhale, tuck your toes under. Pause there. Now remember to set up the hands and the feet again. So toes will tuck. Shoulder down through the hands, so press into the base of your thumb and pointer finger and turn your triceps back. Gives the front of the chest a little more space. As you inhale, reach your hips up and back for downward facing dog, and exhale to stay there. The two most important instructions, I think, for downward facing dog concern the shoulders and the knees. So some of us push our knees back toward the back of the mat and just kind of hang out there. Now, put a little bend in your knees, Kendall, and then see what happens at her hips. Did you see how much more lift she got at her sitting bones? So keeping the bend of your knees, reach your sitting bones up and back. There you go. Now she has this great length from the hips, set back, all the way down into her hands. Walking it out. Good. As you inhale, come to your knees, and exhale, rest in child's pose. And we're going to go back to downward facing dog in just a moment, but I'm giving her a moment to rest. The next one we'll do is shoulder girdle stabilization. Okay, great that she's in child's pose because you can actually do a lot from here to stabilize the shoulder girdle. Now, a lot of us kind of bend our elbows in child's pose, so I'm going to have her straighten your arms, Kendall. Have your hands in line with your shoulders and press down into the base of your thumb and pointer finger. So her fingers are spread really wide and she's already rooting into her inner hand. From here, draw your outer arms toward the earth. Now you can't see this from where you are, but when her outer arms rotate down, that's external rotation of the shoulder heads, it gives a little bit of space between her neck and her upper arm bones. So push into your hands and find some Hasta Bandha, drawing energy up from the center of your palms through your arm bones. So she's not flattening her hand into the ground, she's actually pulling up from the center arch of the hand into the arm bones. Now it's a simple matter of inhale, look at your hands. The arms are set. Exhale, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back, and find downward facing dog. Good, good. Now, for those of us who are pretty bendy in this shape, the front ribs want to flare toward the ground. It's really uncomfortable, I'm not gonna hold her there. So the first instruction there for the shoulder girdle would be to soften your front floating ribs for your bendiest friends. Now, find your stiff friend, round at your upper back. Now, can you guess what I'm going to ask her? We said it before. You bend your knees a little bit, reach your sitting bones up and back, and now it's this length, this whole chain at the back of the body starts to open up because you've taken the pressure out of the knees. So now she can find a little bit more lift through her whole spine. For her shoulders, there's a couple of positions for the head. Now, classically, the head is heavy in this shape, but for some of us, a heavy head actually puts some strain on the upper back. So, Kendall, bring your head up so that your ears are between your upper arm bones. For some of us, it feels really good to do that, and this is a great way to work your downward facing dog. Now, With her knees bent and her hips reaching up and back, she has that length. As you exhale, press down into the base of your thumb and pointer fingers, and then wrap your outer arms toward the earth. If she were a butterfly, there's a little space right here at the back of the heart, like wings, that spiral away from each other. The shoulder heads widen, then it wraps down the outer arm, so she's spinning her triceps toward the earth. She catches that wing right at the center of her elbow and roots it into the base of the thumb. So it's this deep, long spiral that's holding her hand and her shoulder girdle. Sometimes you can instruct, hollow out your armpit. I don't really know if that's the most effective cue, but for somebody who has a really hypermobile shoulder, that pulling in and up through the center of the armpit can help a lot of us. Take a full breath in and exhale it out. Good. Now let's work that spiral one more time and then we'll take it into child's pose. Press down into the base of your hands, pointer finger and thumb. Inhale. Turn your triceps down. And as you exhale, put a little bend in your knees and reach your sitting bones up and back. There you go. One more breath in, and let's give you a rest. Exhale, bring your knees to the ground, child's pose. And release your arms like tired winds alongside your body because she just did this for a really long time. So if you give her a rest, let it be a real rest.
We're starting in down dog here today, so Adho Mukha Svanasana. And you can see Cynthia is in alignment here. If you'll take yourself out of alignment a little bit, please, so we can give you some common adjustments that you might need to use when you're teaching a yoga class. So Cynthia, we'll have you start by bending your knees just a little bit. Press into the index finger and thumb of your hands, and then lift your heart up slightly between your shoulder blades here. And Cynthia gave the adjustment earlier of either allowing the head to be heavy or also allowing the ears to be in line with the upper arm bones. So this can be a really nice way to create a deep, full breath in the pose, and also watching your students if there's any tendency to flare the ribs forward or to not engage the core properly. So we'll transition forward on an inhale to plank pose. So go ahead and go into that. And exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. We'll just do that a few times. So watch Cynthia's body as she comes forward.
So a correct
into plank pose, into a correct plank pose. And then exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank pose. Pause here. So some common misalignment cues or things that you'll see come up in your students will be a hanging head, collapsing of the chest and the heart, and also collapsing in the pelvis. So we'll invite you to reach your tailbone back towards your heels and reach back through your heels. Slightly lift your navel up toward your spine. Press into your index finger and thumb and reach the heart and the chest forward. So you can keep your gaze about 6 inches in front of your fingers, out in front of your mat. And then reach your heels back once again to just really lengthen through your plank. Exhale, lower to your knees and press back into child's pose. So just noticing what that transition looks like. So you can allow Cynthia to rest here for a little bit, which she didn't give me any rest in a lot of my other poses, but I'm going to do that for her because I'm a nice person, mostly. Inhale, come forward into hands and knees, tuck your toes, and show me the transition into downward facing dog, please. So we had a little flip into plank pose there. So inhale, come forward back into plank pose. Find those same alignment cues, reaching your heels back, your tailbone back, engaging through the thigh bones, upper and inner thighs, reaching up and back. Navel drawing up and in slightly, and gaze just slightly forward in front of the hands. Exhale, lower down to the knees. Inhale here, lengthen through your entire spine, and then exhale, come all the way down to the belly. Bending your elbows in alongside your rib cage. Okay, so inhale, come back up to hands and knees for a moment, please. And just for the purposes of alignment, I'd like to show you some common ways, Cynthia, I'm sure you're aware of them as well, where we see our students come down into these belly down positions. So one of them is flaring the ribs forward, collapsing into the heart and chest, collapsing down to the floor, coming back up again for another beautiful transition here. Another one that we see are the elbows flaring up to the sides. And this really weakens the plane of the tricep and also into the pec muscles. We want to be mindful of that. So come back into hands and knees one more time. Tuck your toes, draw your navel toward your spine, and lift your knees and hips back to downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale breath here. And exhale it out. Inhale, roll your spine forward into plank pose. Exhale, lower down to the knees. Press into your hands. Index fingers and thumbs are engaging into the mat here and lower down to your belly. Now, Cynthia does this really well. She knows to keep a length in her spine. She'll slide her hands back alongside her middle ribs here. Front of the fingers, sometimes people will say in line with the nipples. And then inhale, lift your heart and your chest up to keep your gaze slightly forward. Untuck your toes and press the tops of your feet into the floor for a low plank pose. Low plank. Low cobra pose, yep. And then exhale and release. Head and forehead coming down to the floor. Inhale, roll your heart and your chest back up. Lift your heart and chest with your gaze slightly forward, not too much to keep too much hyperextension of the upper neck. Glutes are engaged just enough. If she engages them too much, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but she'll also get this over lifting of the tailbone. So find just right engagement. Press down to the tops of the feet to engage the legs. Exhale, roll yourself back down. And then inhale, really use your breath to lift yourself back up into your low cobra. Right engagement of the legs. Softening the drishti, keeping the back of the neck long, the heart soft, even though the muscles are engaged here, and then exhale and release back down. Plant your hands back underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, draw your navel back to your spine, press back through your hands and knees to come back to downward facing dog, lifting your hips up and deep inhale breath, and then exhale it out. Lower down to your knees one more time. So, common thing that you'll also see in this transition is a shortening. So, we'll ask people, particularly in Ashtanga Pranam, to have them come down, and then they'll start to lower down, show them how that usually happens. So you get this really kind of bend in the thoracic and lumbar junction. Yeah, we'll start that part over. It's okay. Yeah.
So do we want to start from plank pose then?
Start from plank pose.
Okay.
You can leave it on. I'll just cut it. Keep adjusting that black shirt.
Okay. Here we go.
How are you feeling?
Good.
Okay. So starting in plank pose, Cynthia. Keeping the thighs nice and engaged and strong. Your tailbone reaches back as your heart reaches forward. Pressing into your index finger and thumb. We'll take this transition of exhale lower to your knees. And a common transition mistake here, we'll call it, or just a misalignment, would be to collapse the belly and the chest forward as you start to lower down. You'll see this transition kind of break this fluidity between her thoracic spine and her lumbar spine, so press back up to relieve any pressure on that. Make sure that you keep the heart and chest lengthening forward, and then exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Adjust your hands if you need to get there. Now slide your hands back alongside the middle ribs. You can use that inhale to peel your heart and your chest up away from the floor, pressing the tops of your feet down into the floor to engage the thighs, and then exhale and roll back down. Good. Slide your hands back underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes, engage that deep lower belly core, press back through your hands and knees on an exhale breath, and find your way to downward facing dog. Deep inhale breath once you arrive, and then exhale it back out. On your inhale, roll your spine forward to plank pose. This time, let's exhale, keep the knees and the thighs lifted. Reach your heels back, and then bend your elbows alongside your body, and slowly lower down. So you'll see that Cynthia is slightly transitioned her heart and her chest forward. That's an equal and opposite here to help move the energy forward and back at the same time. Pose. Inhale, press yourself up to cobra or even low cobra. Exhale, roll back down. Tuck your toes, press back, lifting the knees back to downward facing dog. Now, please show the transition through your plank pose and down through Chaturanga Dandasana. So inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, reach your heart forward and up to upward facing dog. And then exhale, take it back. Beautiful, back to downward facing dog. So allowing Cynthia here to take a few full deep breaths, enjoying the transition of the shape, but then also allowing it to settle into our nervous system. And then lower down to your knees and press back into child's pose. Releasing your arms completely and allowing that to sink into your body.
In this chapter, we're going through the classical vinyasa. Now, vinyasa means movement on breath, but it also means plank to chaturanga to up dog to down dog. As you exhale, come to downward facing dog, Kendall. Good. And she's nice and strong, so she can hold the plank, but down dog is a better rest shape. So, as you inhale, pull with your hands and draw your heart forward into plank pose. Shift your weight a little bit forward through your chest. And exhale, bend your elbows straight back for chaturanga, keeping your shoulders above the height of your elbows. Good. As you inhale, point your toes and find upward facing dog. Now, key things here. Some people really take their ankles apart. So hug your outer ankles toward your midline as you keep all 10 toes on the ground. Lift up through the front of your pelvis. And you see how much congestion she has in her head. So take your head to look forward. Good. And as you inhale, press your shoulder heads away from each other and turn your triceps back. Now the key transition into downward facing dog to protect your shoulders will be not to drop your shoulders forward in this transition. There you go. So as you inhale, take your shoulder heads away from each other, wrap your triceps back. Push down into the base of your thumb and pointer finger. And as you exhale, without tipping your shoulders forward, use your belly to take your hips up and back, downward facing dog. So really that transition between up dog and down dog is critical for the long-term health of the low back, the shoulders, and so many different parts of our body as we move it. Inhale, shift forward into plank pose. Head is in line with her heart. Exhale, shift slightly forward, bend your elbows straight back, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog, press your shoulder heads away from each other. Exhale, lift your hips up and back, down dog. Use your belly to take you there. Take a breath in, lower to your knees, child's pose. Release your arms alongside your legs and rest. Good. So that's one option of taking someone through vinyasa.